Look for the chat box on the side or bottom of the video player. This is where you can type your message. Click inside the chat box and use your keyboard to type out what you want to say. You can type words, use emojis, or even ask questions. Once you've typed your message, press the enter key on your keyboard or click the send button. Your comment will then appear in the chat for everyone watching the live stream to see. If you want to send another comment, just type it in the chat box again and press enter or send. Your new comment will show up below your previous.
To allow importation into Jamaica recently.
Give me a question or a favor.
This cloak and dagger arrangement for importation of food has been going on for years, completely in the dark. Its procedures unknown to many, and its beneficiaries too. The Jamaica Agricultural Society doesn't even seem to care about how the permits are issued, who gets the permits, and what amounts of vegetables are brought in. We are now being told that there is price gouging involving such vegetables made scarcer by Hurricane Beryl's passage. The agricultural minister who raised it provided no evidence or suggested action besides a request to his colleague minister for an investigation. Don't hold your breath on that. Now, we are not done yet with that, I'm still asking questions about this vegetable importation and who's doing the price gouging and who got the permits. Good day, I'm Franklin McKnight. This is the 135th episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica Podcast for September 8th, 2024. With me are Desmond, Richards, and Winnie Anderson Brown, who are well-respected commentators. Now, we said at the start you can send your comments. Please do. And you may also send your comments on this WhatsApp number, 503-9995. That's 876-503-9995. He's considered one of the bright prospects for governance in Jamaica, particularly local government. Richard Vernon has been councilor for the Montego Bay South Division for several years and had many stints as acting mayor of Montego Bay for much of the last local government period, because of illness of the then mayor and chairman. But people in Montego Bay are already beginning to question what's going on with the St. James Municipal Corporation. A colleague of mine said, tell him to cut the PR and get to the real thing. Under Mayor Vernon, they are questioning now. Not least because of the last 2 weeks, 2 huge public health carbuncles in recent days. One, too shameful to be spoken about. And then there is also the shoe market that points to chronic malfunction of St. James Municipal Corporation. Welcome to the chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation, Mayor Richard Vernon, and we're going to start by asking him, Mayor Vernon, what is the state of the city of Montego Bay, and what are your immediate, what is your immediate outlook to make a difference?
Thank you for having me on this show, Mr. McKnight, and of course greetings to our colleagues here and the viewers and listeners of this podcast. My outlook of Montego Bay is one that speaks to development, what is happening in our city space. We looked at the infrastructure development several times, and that is something that is keen to what we call the infrastructure.
Can you speak up a little bit more, Mayor, please? Just
that is needed to drive. You hearing me?
Yes, yes.
Clearly?
Yes,
right,
yes,
so the infrastructure that is needed to drive economic growth. So we continue to put these things in place. So for example, we have built the recent fire station. We have done several health centers, renovated police stations. We have done the Harmony Beach Park that speaks to social development. We also are doing the perimeter road, which is approximately 40% on its way, and with the pathway about 80 to 85% completed. We are looking at housing development. Recently, the estuary units were advertised, Union Acres. We're building out these development so that we facilitate the influx of persons coming into Montego Bay to take advantage and to leverage the economic opportunities that exist here. Montego Bay is heading in the right direction. We have our challenges just like any other city. Many of them have been with us from time immemorial. And of course, successive administrations try to address them. We continue to do the same. Our duty is to try new approaches, consult with the people, and that is where the PR comes in, because it has to be a part of the conversation where we talk about partnership for development, where we talk about inclusivity, where we talk about consultation. These are the things that constitute a proper development and good governance. So we have to ensure that we do it. And of course, while doing that, we have to ensure that we show to the people what is being done. We show to the people how we are engaging them. The different societies, business, social, and volunteer societies, you name them. We have to show these things. While we work with the administration, the technocrats, to ensure that these things are addressed, the challenges are addressed, we have to ensure that we are organized as a municipal corporation to get these things done, and we have been doing that. So I guess in terms of the outlook, we're at a good place, on the right trajectory, and of course, we're going to look at what we're doing. I guess that is what this discussion is about.
Mayor, I know that Desmond wants to jump in very quickly, but the viewers wouldn't realize we had a little discussion before we started. And one of the things that we want to find out, is it too much to ask the St. James Municipal Corporation and you as the leader to make Montego Bay clean? Give us a clean city. Not the big infrastructure projects, even that. We're not even there yet. Make Montego Bay clean. Is that too much to ask?
We can try. It's a straightforward question which requires a multifaceted approach to address. Let me start by saying that there is something called social responsibility. And the social responsibility, as we know, is how citizens operate within a space. And we even committed many years ago when we decided that we are going to do a pledge, own the pledge, believe the pledge, emulate the pledge, demonstrate and manifest the pledge, that we will do everything for all mankind so that we can advance. That is within our baseline as a society, as a people. And if you're a nationalist and you believe those words of our pledge or national pledge, then you will understand what I mean when I say social responsibility. It means simple things like not dumping garbage in the gullies. It means simple things like properly packaging your garbage. The garbage did not pop up on the street from nowhere. It came from a source of production. It means simple things, such as ensuring that you have a contract with the Solid Waste Management Authority or a private contractor to cart away your garbage. Now, when the social responsibility fails, the system that has been established and is in place is activated to remedy the situation.
Mayor, that sounds like an elaborate excuse to say.
No.
It sounds like an elaborate excuse to say, don't expect me and the council to keep the city clean.
And I do not agree with you. I do not agree with you. Right? And then we move to the serious part of the question outside of the social responsibility. And by the way, let me say, there are systems in place to address the same matter that I'm going to talk about. And that system is managed and executed by an entity called the National Solid Waste Management Authority. And in each local, you have parks and markets. In our case, it's a Western Parks and Market. And the Western Parks and Markets, as you know, was devolved from the local authority and turned into a Western arm of a national body called the National Solid Waste Management Authority. That entity has primary responsibility for waste management. And out of respect, out of understanding, not by law, they report to a council, the St. James Municipal Corporation, of course, the other municipal corporations across Jamaica Union. We collaborate with them, and recently we started the Mobile Step Up program, which means striving towards environmental protection and urban preservation. And under that Step Up program, we have what we call a technical working group. In the technical working group, we have the Solid Waste Management Authority, we have Public Health, we have Jamaica Fire Brigade, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, we have NEPA, and about 2 other entities that possess enforcement capabilities. And at the head of that committee is the mayor. And that is how I have been moving around Montego Bay and moving through the different streets and trying to right the wrongs. That is how we, and this, I don't hear you talk about it. That is how we remove a few illegal dump sites. In one particular case, there was an unsightly one along Dome Street that we got many complaints about. And we turned that into a beautiful garden. We removed one at the Love Lane area, and we're moving to address others. But as I said, the response to these things are multifaceted, and they are not vested in the St. James Municipal Corporation by law to address certain things. As a leader, you have to utilize influence and respect to get many of these things done. And that is all at the moment.
So, Mayor, are you working on an agenda that somewhere during your tenure that the city, the streets are going to be kept clean? Do you working on such an agenda?
So let me tell you more about the Step Up program. And as I said, it is striving towards environmental protection and urban preservation. A part of that program, yes, it is a program, and we have a written document that I can share. It is available to the public as well. Part of that program has the environmental component that has several programs underneath that. And one of those programs is the roving team. As I speak, the roving team is at the airport roundabout doing cleanup. They're removing gravel from the roadway, doing debushing, clearing garbage. And this is a continuous thing that happens right throughout the week, not just weekly, not just a monthly basis, but weekly. So this is one facet of the program. The other facet of the program speaks to managing the vending along our roadways. The meeting that we're setting up will address how these vendors will deal with the matter of waste management. The technical working group allows for the Solid Waste Management Authority to interact and to engage all business operators, micro, medium, and large size business operators. And the vendors are no exception to this rule. So what we did last year was launch the Safe Food program, which is also looped under the Step Up program. And the Safe Food program, there are different types of vendors, by the way.
What's the program called? Sorry, you launched what the program called?
The Step Up. Step Up. Okay. Right. The Safe Food program, we launched that last year, and we looped it under the Step Up program this year, so that we can have better monitoring and evaluation after 6 months. The vendors that
you realize,
go ahead.
Mayor, do you realize that the primary agency responsible for cleaning the city and for cleaning the cities, that they lack resources? You realize
Management
that?
Authority?
Yes, do you know that?
All right, and I'm going to ask you the question. What funds the National Solid Waste Management Authority?
So what funds?
Yeah.
The public funds. But I am saying
Where do they get it from?
all agency like NSW get their funds from the funds collected from taxpayers. It's
What?
not public funds.
What
But the fact of the matter, the fact of the matter is that the agency got some trucks recently all over Jamaica right now as we speak. You talk to the parish councillors, many of them all over are having problems with garbage collecting in their divisions because the agency does not have the required resources. They have some trucks, but they don't have enough trucks to do the work.
And you have the view that we should buy more and meet the adequate requirement. You have the view.
Well, I don't know what they should do if they shouldn't buy more trucks.
What should we do?
But
then?
the fact of the matter is that do they have the funds to purchase these trucks?
Maybe not.
Right. So when what you are saying there, Mayor, is that yes, I take the point that we as citizens there are some we shouldn't go about this throwing our garbage on the street. We should never do that, right? But one of the issues is that people don't have anywhere to throw away their garbage because when they put down their garbage, it stays there for weeks and not collected in some instances. And in other instances, what I would suggest is that the councils must set the examples, lead the way, and then encourage and get the people to follow. Right now, the council is not setting the proper example as far as collecting and disposing garbage in Jamaica is concerned. That is not being said. In none of the councils.
Mayor, just before you respond, just telling those who are just joining us that we're speaking with Mayor Richard Vernon. He is a special guest at Mayor of Montego Bay. And Winnie has some comments. I don't know if he's ready for some comments, but Winnie, can you throw those comments in before we go back to the mayor?
There are 5 comments from Marshallie White. Welcome, Marshallie. The first one, please put that up. She's asking the question, did Czech suspend work on the Roaring River watershed site of their proposed housing development? That question is for you, Mayor, posed by Marshallie White.
Right. We're not going to stop the mayor out of the stride.
Roaring River is not in the mayor's division.
No, she's asking about Roaring River in St.
That is what she's asking.
And then development in St. Anne. But Mayor, sorry, so you go ahead, Mayor, because we really want to move a little bit from this on-site. The cities and the towns are dirty, and you still haven't told me, just as a resident of one of them, you still haven't told me whether you accept that this must be a job for the St. James Municipal Corporation to clean up Montego Bay.
But you're not listening. If you haven't, well, I mean, maybe I need to say it another way then.
Yes.
Because if you don't understand, it means that there are other persons who don't understand. I listen to Desmond, and there is a disconnect between reality and expectation. The reality is this, and I said it just now. There is an entity that is responsible for solid waste management, and that entity is not the St. James Municipal Corporation. We collaborate with them. They are like our sister agency, and we get things done together. As mayor, I lead the charge in terms of the expectations of the city, but I have no power, and there's a difference between power and authority for those who are listening. I have no power to commandeer the National Solid Waste Management Authority, nor to penalize them for not doing the work. Expectation is that the council must ensure the city is clean. And that is why I say that there is a disconnect. So there is a larger conversation that needs to be had in terms of the expectations of local authority and the power bestowed upon and within these systems and structures for us to properly serve the municipalities right across Jamaica. There's a larger conversation to be had. However, the Solid Waste Management Authority, they report to council based on how we have structured the system many years, not by law, but how we structure it for it to work. And they present the plans to us, and we give the concerns, and we advocate on behalf of the citizens. And we ourselves have expectations, so we give it to them, we put it to them. And that is how they change around their operation. They do night collections, they try many things. And to address the matter that you raised, Desmond, about resources, do not shy from the fact that local government and its operation, from solid waste management, local authorities and its planning purposes and all the different purposes that they fulfill, they are funded by a particular tax called property taxes. Mm-hmm. That is something that we don't pay enough of in this country, and it is no secret. I visited another municipality outside of Jamaica recently, and what they pay for property taxes to ensure that the services are delivered to the citizens and their cities, and to maintain them properly, the roadways, the drains, the road furniture, bushing, garbage collection, lighting, etc. What we collect is negligible compared to those. So of course, we can do as much as is possible, but it is not enough. And there's something else that I would like to say. There is a feeble component of our society, and that is where data is concerned. We do not collect enough data to govern properly. That is our responsibility and a fault of ours, not of any particular administration, but of successive administration and planning institutes, and you name all the data collectors that you want to name. There is a fallout where disaggregated data is concerned. So St. James cannot give you thorough information pertaining to all components of the municipality and how we plan using that data, and how we manipulate that data to better order trucks, to better dispatch trucks, to better organize in terms of planning, housing, roadways, etc. We don't have that information. And that is another thing that this administration at the St. James Municipal Corporation has started. And in this month, September, we will have our team from Bloomberg come into St. James to meet and to work with us on a program called the Data Alliance, the Bloomberg Data Alliance, to build out our data system here in St. James so we can better advocate for what is needed in our city.
It's such a huge portfolio and so crucial issues.
Yes,
but
go ahead.
I appreciate your taking the time to deal with them all, but we've got to move on very quickly to one of the issues that's bedeviling Montego Bay and other places, and that is the nature of your market. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows of your market, which was one stage was iconic and still bears an important name. But last week and the week before, the reports from the health authority show that your main market, is in a terrible state. What is going to be done about that? And can you explain to people what is the situation with the shoe market in the middle of Montego Bay, which is, I don't even want to attempt to describe it now, but can we start with Charles Gordon Market? What is going to be done about that one?
So the overarching plan for Charles Gordon Market is this: complete renovation of the roof, complete renovation of the area we call the gun court, complete renovation of the main building to the tune of $100 million. From that $100 million, we already got a disbursement of $8 million that we used to reinforce the columns and the beams of the market structure. We abandoned the section, the main building, to facilitate further work, but that was derailed by, of course, the election, and now we have to resend some of the documentation to the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development for further funding to be dispersed so we can continue the project. We have had some hiccups in the area. You may even wonder why we haven't done that as yet, but we sent some information, but they needed more information in terms of relocation plan and all these things, which we had initially, but we had a discussion and not necessarily sent it in writing. It is being requested in writing. No, we're doing that. So when the allocation comes, then we will start working on the gun court area, and the relocation plan would facilitate vendors moving into the main building. So what is being done for that? You saw a report. That report speaks to several breaches, and it is no secret in terms of the state of all the markets across the country, and particularly now Charles Garden market that is at the focal point. Today, as I speak, that market, the main area that we abandoned, and that is where public health had its concerns. That is where they did the investigation. They look for things like pitting, open areas. I heard mention of rat infestation in the report. These areas we're addressing them. So we're washing the market completely today, the main building, and tomorrow we'll continue that process. Then we will do some minor repairs to some of the stalls, but we'll ensure that it is conducive for operation, because we are going to reopen that section so that the vendors who are operating within the district can go inside the area to operate, while we work on the gun court area and move the gun court vendors to that main building. But we have to look at the project management of it, the start to start and the start to finish process. We now have to wait on the ministry to say, yes, we're going to allocate the funds so we can actually carry out relocation. But we're still continuing with the cleanup of the main section that we abandoned, and I repeat, so that they can, the ones operating outside, they can go into that section. And of course, we will do the cleanup to meet the requirements of public health. So that
Mayor, can you just tell us quickly about the shoe market? That place has been operating for years now with very little control. Do you get any revenue out of it? It's your property.
No,
your property place, meaning the municipal corporation. You get any revenue out of it, sir?
That place is unregulated. No fees are collected for it. No permission given for any of the connection that is there. No.
You mean the electrical connections and the water connections?
And water, you name it. Whatever connection is there, and we inherited it this way. And that is why we're doing what is necessary. We look at the situation and we say, listen, it cannot continue. And I met with them, some of them, on Thursday when we had the fire. I met with them because I met with a larger group twice. We had basically a town hall meeting for them twice. I presented to them the design, and there are two designs. We looked at those. They selected the one that they are willing. As I said, we do this thing by being inclusive, and we consult, and that is the PR aspect of it that whoever mentioned to you. Right, so to the point, we met with them, we had a discussion. Now the big part of the question is, when is it that we're going to rebuild the market? Yeah. While I cannot give you a definitive date, what I'll tell you is that I have to get some information from the Urban Development Commission and also Corporation, and also we are exploring the possibilities of public-private partnerships as well, so that we can realize the rebuilding of the space for the persons who operate there. So that is what we're doing. as I speak. So they are part of the conversation. They know what we are doing. However, they're a little bit uneasy that we are taking so long to start moving around the pieces so that they can see something tangible being done. And I can understand the frustration. So
You're
I'm doing
right,
as
Mayor.
best as possible. I'm trying to do as best as possible, but I cannot move faster than the funding that is available. So as soon
Mayor,
as it's
I'm going to
available,
ask you for a 30-second response to this as we close off. I don't know if Desmond has another quick lesson, but I want just a 30-second response. One of your citizens of Montego Bay, Dave Allen, well-known social and political commentator. His roots are well-known in that city. He wrote this in a recent piece on social media. 40% of the city's residents operate outside the formal economic process. The culture of informality spills over into the behavior, values, and attitudes marked by an unacceptable level of coarseness, indiscipline, and looseness. Is he wrong?
what's the source of his data?
He has done a lot of observation, and I don't know the details about his data.
I deal with empirical evidence, not observation only, nor being philosophical about any particular situation.
And you think he's wrong? You think the place is not
he may be right,
unacceptable level of coarseness?
He may be right, but his position, his hypothesis must be tested. And then we can have a serious conversation about it.
Mayor, we want to thank you a lot. Thank you very much. And we're coming to you again, we hope, before Christmas, because we know that the convolution and the backtracking and all of that goes on before the period when we want everything to happen on the streets. But we want to thank you very, very much for
You're welcome,
spending
and
time
thanks for having me on the show.
outlining where you want to go with Montego Bay and St. James.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mayor.
All right, all the best.
Okay, and thank Marshall Lee for being so active. Although all the questions and comments, we could not read them, but Marshall Lee has been very active for the mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Thanks again, Mayor. All right, let's move on. We want to move on to Winnie, in fact, whose voice we just heard, because we are accused of taking on the big political issues and not dealing with some sensitive issues, including AI, which Winnie has wanted to talk about to us for a while. Winnie, your go. Please go.
Yes, here I am with artificial intelligence, my favorite thing to talk about. And last year, this time, people could say, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, but anyone with a phone that uses WhatsApp will see Meta AI at the top. So what is that? Have you been using Meta AI? How do you use that? That chatbot is available for everyone who uses WhatsApp. So how do you go about using that? What is that about? It means that you have the opportunity to have a personal assistant. The best, I was going to say person, but Meta AI chatbot Llama 3.1 can tell you about itself. You can ask it what it can do and how it can help you. Even now, as you listen, you can go to your phone and ask the question, hello, I like to say hello so that I get attention. And I like the please and thank you. I like the conversation. So one of the things to do right now is to go to Meta AI and ask the question, hello, please tell me about yourself. Tell me how you can help me. And it will. So it is important for us to make sure that we get in the know. There's no excuse now for not paying attention to artificial intelligence.
It's not just there to help us to do search engines, and not just
no. You can, there is a
Wikipedia search.
no, that is far from it. If, for example, you have a list of ingredients and you're not sure what to cook, you can tell Meta you have all these. Can you suggest a recipe for dinner? You can do that. If you
Just
want
by going to on your WhatsApp at the top there,
yes,
where you see AI.
yes, you just go to Meta AI,
Yeah.
and you press hello. I am not going to do that now because Meta will answer me.
Yes.
It will answer now. But you can go right there and ask. The first question you ask is, what can you do to help me? Tell me, list for me the things that you can do to assist me. And the chatbot will list that. If you want the chatbot to write a song to help you to remember anything that you're studying, you ask about the topic. If you want to help with a math problem, you ask. If you want translation, you ask. That chatbot can even speak Jamaican Creole. So you can ask. If you talk to it in Spanish, it will respond in Spanish. It's important though to make sure that you can ask as well, do you understand the task that I have given you? And it will tell you whether or not it understands or what it understands, and you can agree or disagree. There is no excuse for not knowing any topic that you want to learn about. If you don't know what is blockchain technology, ask Meta AI. Its chatbot Llama 3.1 will answer. And I did a dub with just one of its capabilities. I asked it to tell me, and I did it and sent it to it and had it critique it for me. Anything that you want done. This is a day and age. And by the way, it is not magic. It is something that is clearly out. And people are trained, and they keep training these machines. Machine learning is something that is real. It is going nowhere. So get with it.
Wow. Well, I like the idea of asking Meta to prepare a meal and finish up the meal, not just the ingredients. I like the idea of asking Meta to prepare the meal.
It's not just what might be in the meal. You need a robot for that. You need a robot.
Oh, Meta can't do that.
You need another branch of artificial intelligence to cook for you. But the chatbot won't cook for you. It will talk with you, but not cook for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I mean, I think you have made it clear that even the most, what's the adjective we're looking for out of Luddites can actually go on and use Meta and get with it. Right.
Yes, it's important.
Thanks, Winnie. Desmond, returning to you now, sir. You have some, you want to put back on the table for us. Last week was an important political week in Jamaica, where first, there was a sudden resignation of Marshall Smith, MP for North East St. Ann, followed in less than 24 hours by an announcement by the Prime Minister that there would be a by-election in that seat. Wednesday, September 11 is nomination day, and September 30 is election day. Now, we are not sure there will be any challengers for the JLP's Matthew Samuda in a seat held by the JLP for nearly 24 years now. The PNP says it's not taking part in this or any other parliamentary by-election. They want the date for the general election. Desmond, is this the PNP running from a beating, or the JLP trying to drum up support for in a pretty safe seat, or what's going on, Desmond? Tell us.
Well, you know that parties contest elections because they want to win. Victory is at the top of their list. And in Northeast St. Ann, what we have there is that from Shaini took over that seat 20 odd years ago, you'll see that they have cemented that constituency, you have three constituencies in St. Ann. Northwest used to be a PNP seat. Southeast, where up in Halva and those places were places that were held by Gallimore for centuries.
Southwest.
Yes.
Southwest.
Yes. And then the JLP took over Northeast and has held it for 20 odd years. So that is a seat that the JLP is sure to win or is confident in winning. And therefore, when the Prime Minister announced the by-election there, you know there has been some political rumblings over there because my good friend, Ernest Smith's daughter, some of our listeners and viewers will remember Ernest Smith, a Brownstown man, a Orange Hill man. Yes. And his daughter, you know,
well-known attorney and public figure.
Yes, and you know that there has been some issues with his daughter. So I am not surprised that the JLP, the Prime Minister, is announcing a by-election for Northeast. I'm not surprised. I am also not surprised that he has not announced one for Dalrymple seat in Trelawney, because he's not. No, I am not surprised, because the issue is that he's not certain that the JLP is going to retain that seat, right? And therefore, the PNP candidate, caretaker, told me that he's confident of victory when the big elections is called. But
that's a former councilor.
No, the existing caretaker now. I think his name is Mr. Simpson. So what is happening down there that the JLP is using the opportunity to settle itself. You know that it has some issues to settle. Who is going to be the next finance minister and those issues. So the JLP is using that opportunity to settle those events. And the PNP is not about to contest those elections now. It is preparing for the big elections. As you know, both parties are in election mode. We are now in the election period, and what we are accustomed to is that the elections will be called before the time is up. But I remember the last time when Mr. Siaga was in power, he did not call the elections. In other words, he lived out his term and he lost. So all eyes now are on the big elections, because the PNP, as you know, is hungry for power, seeking for power, and that is where they can get it. So what is happening in St. Ann right now is politics. Both parties are playing politics, and you know that politics is what the parties play.
And what about the people's right to representation? Those are just heady concepts, or what? Or we play them when the politics suits us, or what?
Well, have you seen how that is dealt with in Jamaica, Mr. McKnight?
Yes,
for example, look how many times the parties have postponed local government elections. Look how many times, right? They have not, to the best of my knowledge and memory, they have not postponed a general election. But they when it comes down to defending the rights, of the people, that is not big on their agenda.
Thanks, Desmond. Thanks, Winnie. Thanks to Joshua Black, who provided technical support today. Thanks in a special way to Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, who was with us for most of the program. Thanks to you all for following us. Remember, you can go back and watch this program, or you can send the same by going to the same link or sharing with your friends, please subscribe on behalf of all of us. I'm Franklin McKnight. Until then.